was a bold step and one that showed some courage," remarked the Englishman. "As I've already told you, sir, he was a very dangerous man, and, fortunately, by his own act, disembarrassed the government of the fears it had on his account." "How was that?" "How? Do you not comprehend?" "No. The Château d'If has no cemetery. They simply throw the dead into the sea, after fastening a 36-pound cannonball to their feet." "Well?" observed the Englishman, as if he were slow of comprehension. "Well, they fastened a 36-pound ball to his feet and threw him into the sea." "Really?" exclaimed the Englishman. "Yes, sir," continued the inspector of prisons. "You may imagine the amazement of the fugitive when he found himself flung headlong over the rocks. I should have liked to seen his face at that moment." "That would have been difficult." "No matter," replied de Boville, in supreme good humor at the certainty of recovering his 200,000 francs. "No matter, I can fancy it." And he shouted with laughter. "So can I," said the Englishman. And he laughed too, but he laughed as the English do, at the end of his teeth. "And so," continued the Englishman, who first gained his composure, "was he drowned, unquestionably, so that the governor got rid of the dangerous and the crazy prisoner at the same time?" "Precisely." "But some official document was drawn up to this affair, I suppose?" inquired the Englishman. Yes, the mortuary deposition. You understand Dante's relations, if he had any, might have some interest in knowing if he were dead or alive, so that now, if there were any to inherit from him, they may do so with easy conscience. He is dead, and no mistake about it. As we discussed yesterday, it does seem that Dante is really just trying to understand what the paper trail, what's the documentation on him look like? Is there a death certificate? In the eyes of the government, is Dante still alive? Is he dead? Is he a threat? Does he need to be recaptured? And it seems that it's pretty definitive, at least from this inspector, that Dante has been declared dead, right? How does that change what Dante's doing moving forward? When he says here in that very last line, so that now, if there were anything to inherit from him, they may do so with an easy conscience. As far as the government is concerned, Dante doesn't have anything to inherit, right? I guess anything that his father would have had would have been passed on to him, but anything that he would have had would be passed on to TBD. There's no one else in the Dante line. Who does that go to at this point? Plus, it's an irrelevant question because his father had literally nothing and died in destitution. So what's Dante angling at here? I'm not quite sure. And I know in the past I have gone maybe a little too far into asking questions into how all of this is shaping Dante's psychology as he's transforming himself. But this feels like a pretty unique situation where I wonder, what does hearing the story of your own death do to you when you know that you escaped the clutches of death itself? I mean, it's got to be a bit of a power trip, right? Is this adding to any kind of conceit or hubris that's going to come out in Dante later? I wonder if we're going to get to a point where Dante pushes things a little bit too far at a pivotal moment, and it's going to come back to bite him. We've already seen his emotions get the better of him. Is his hubris going to get the better of him at some point, too? I also find it kind of ironic how Dante was imprisoned by a corrupt or faulty, note submitted by Fernand. He was kept in prison by more paperwork submitted by Villefort, cemented by Villefort, and now he's been declared dead by paperwork, all of which is incorrect. I'm wondering if Dumas is intending something with critiquing the kind of corruption or futility or frailty of bureaucracy. Because not only is Dante not dead, I mean, he's more rich and powerful than he's ever been before, and none of it has anything to do. In fact, it's in spite of all of the paperwork that has harmed him. So there's something interesting there, and I'm not smart enough to really know what it is, but maybe I'll do some research and see if there's any work that has been done on analyzing Dumas' relationship with bureaucracy, government, see if there is anything here that he could be critiquing or satirizing. Anyway, join me here tomorrow as we finish up this short chapter with the penultimate episode of Chapter 28. Until then, you know where to find me. Okay, goodbye. The Countdown of Monte Cristo is part of the Gruntwork Podcast Network. This show is produced, edited, and hosted by Landon Solano. The original text of The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. Theme song by Magic Solo. If you want to support the show and others like it, visit patreon.com/gruntworkpod. Thank you for listening. See you tomorrow.